I agree with you, Alex. You cannot start spying on the citizens of America. I mean, we're getting enough spying on with the internet. I mean, I can't even blow my nose without somebody knowing it on the internet, and it's crazy. And we're all an open book today with the wild frontier of the internet. But the thing is, we cannot have law enforcement going in and breaking down doors with just suspicions. But the thing is,
that's the problem. The problem is that they're given these unfunded federal mandates. They're not allowed to do their constitutional jobs, like control the borders, and we have 800-plus sanctuary cities that are bankrupting the city, county, state governments. Everything's starting, and then the police go out and squeeze with asset forfeiture, seizure, and things that violate due process, and the most police I talk to personally, they don't like what's happening, but they're basically being given these orders. Are we coming to the time when we need more and more police organizations to say no to unconstitutional actions like, are you aware, because it hadn't gotten a lot of attention, not just gun confiscation in New Orleans, the governor, who needs to be impeached in Illinois a month ago, I can play the clip if you want to hear it, said that they want to use the National Guard for gun sweeps and gun confiscation in the entire state of Illinois.
Oh, boy. No, that's not good.
Where do you stand on gun confiscation?
Well, I have a ranch, and I believe in bearing arms. I really do, Alex. I believe that Americans have the right to bear arms. And, the thing is, I wouldn't want anyone taking my guns away from me on my ranch here. But the thing is, it has to be responsible. Responsibility. But the thing is with the Constitution, the Constitution is being played from both ends. It's a living document today. It's not a solid document that it should be. And Patrick Henry said it diligently. I mean, he said the Constitution is not an instrument for the government to restrain the people. It's an instrument for the people to restrain the government, lest it come to dominate our lives. I really believe the government is dominating our lives, Alex. I believe that they are dictating everything that they feel we should do, rather than us dictating to the government what should be in our best interest. And it's irritating me.
Well, you cover a lot of that in Black Belt Patriotism, How to Reawaken America, Chuck Norris. I went to the House. I was in D.C. a few months ago, my wife and I, and we walked into the House chamber, and here's 435 congressmen screaming at each other across the aisle. And I'm watching this. I can't even hear myself think, and they're screaming about some bill. And I'm thinking, here's 435 congressmen looking like eighth graders screaming at each other and not getting anything resolved. And finally, the House Speaker said, okay, that's enough, time out. Everyone stopped and walked off. And I'm thinking, this is like an eighth grade class where the teacher's gone and everyone's just going crazy. And I said, no wonder we don't get anything resolved in our country. And if they do resolve something, then it's inedible. It's like, is the bailout. I mean, all the money we're spending to AIG and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and now Merrill Lynch. Have you? Those are multinational corporations.
What these CEOs are getting for when they leave the company, it's just crazy the amount of money these CEOs have run a company down, and then they get $100 million bailout. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, Chuck Norris, you know what's happening. They've created all this false paper, these derivatives that are nothing is backing them but the U.S. taxpayer, and most of these companies are global corporations. Secretary Paulson's come out and said they want to bail out foreign banks. But this is a black hole that we can't bail out.
It's a black hole, Alex, and we're going to bail ourselves right into bankruptcy in our country.
Well, Chuck, a lot of people respect you on both sides of the aisle. The American people, I mean, everybody I know loves Chuck Norris. And for people listening, I know you're a smart guy, and I know you try to hold back and be, an even-headed guy and be restrained. But, I mean, tell us here in this interview with the 6 minutes we've got left, bottom line, what you think the individuals could do, because we know the foreign interest have seized Washington, both parties. I know you know that they're hiring felons for the military, illegal aliens for the military. They're turning mercenary forces loose that are now not even based in the U.S. They signed a deal earlier this year for NORTHCOM to use Canadian and Mexican troops in the U.S. If you're not aware of that, I can give you the mainstream stories. Congress has been told they're not involved in that. It's like in Germany. You're not against the German military if you're a German until bad people take control of it. And there has to be a point if they're planning to use the military against the American people that we say no. So, are you against, or are you aware that they're felons that they're now hiring for the military?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that. But, the thing is, what I'm really concerned about is our people in America who work week to week and make a living from paycheck to paycheck. And all of a sudden that becoming, where they can't live from paycheck to paycheck. That's why I'm so in favor of the fair tax concept, Alex, because the thing is there's $13 trillion in offshore accounts.
Yes.
That's where the super rich are hiding their money. And so if we had a fair tax, the super rich could bring their $13 trillion back into our economy and give our economy a huge boost. The 3 million manufacturing jobs that are being outsourced to other countries, they can all come back because they're not going to be taxed to death. We got income tax, employment tax, capital gains, estate, corporate property, Social Security. We're being taxed to death, Alex.
Well, you're right. We're talking to Chuck Norris, the new book, Black Belt Patriotism. I have to say with this book, it is I don't want to say eclectic, but it's a great mix of health, patriotism, ways to fix America. It also gets, some into your martial arts history. And before you leave in about 4 minutes, I just want to bring it up now or my listeners will kill me. Just a few words from you about what it was like actually, knowing Bruce Lee and being his best black belt and then starring in films with him. What was that like? Well,
the thing is, Bruce and I became good friends. He was back in New York when I won the world title in 1968. And then, we started working out together in L.A. And then he left for Hong Kong to pursue his movie career. And I didn't hear from him for a couple of years. And then he called me out of the blue and said, Chuck, I've done 2 movies and they're really successful. I want to do a movie now with a fight scene in the Colosseum in Rome, and I'd like for you to be my opponent. So kiddingly, I said, well, Bruce, who wins this fight? He said, well, I win. I'm the star of this movie. I said, oh, because I held the world title at that time. And I said, oh, I see. You want to beat up the world champion, huh? He says, no. He says, I want to kill the world champion. But, I have to tell you.
Who would have really won? In a no-holds bar.
I don't know. I was a professional fighter. But the thing is, Bruce was an incredible martial artist. And, you never want to say you could do something unless you proved it, But I have to tell you, I've done 23 movies and 203 episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger, and I've never gotten one encouraging review in all the years I've done in the entertainment world. Now I write a book, Black Belt Patriotism, and I've got 3 5-star ratings. One woman, Laura Berenger, wrote, not being a huge Chuck Norris fan, I wasn't sure what to expect. Having just finished it, I have to confess that I was quickly drawn in and captivated by the contents of the book and actually pleasantly surprised by its insight, depth, research, genuineness, practicality, and motivating nature. This is not just another political diatribe. It's a cultural manifesto. I have never gotten a review like that in my life, Alex.
Well, you know what's happening, Chuck? A lot of mainline liberals obviously were angry at your political stance on the Second Amendment and things like that, but now they see so much, and the left is disenfranchised with the left, the right is disenfranchised with the right. The people are figuring that out and coming together, and there's a huge awakening happening. And I appreciate your.
Well, I hope so, because we need to get away from liberalism and conservatism and think about Americanism, Alex.
Well, look at the crisis right now. In closing, Ron Paul was right about everything he said about the time bomb with the economy and the banks.
He sure as heck was.
And you're supporting Ron Paul now. Do you wish he could, come in and run?
Ron. Why I back Mike Huckabee? Because Mike Huckabee espoused fair tax, which I really believe in. But
then when he got out, you were supporting Ron Paul till he got out. You need to call Ron Paul and draft him to try to run third party now in the last month, just to inject real issues.
Well, everybody's asking me to run a third party. So who knows what's going to happen, Alex?
Chuck, why don't you run for president? In 2012.
Oh, man, they need somebody smarter than me. Mike Huckabee or Ron Paul. That's what I'd like to have.
Absolutely. Chuck Norris, I want to say bye to you just for a minute off air here. Yeah. But give us the website. And people can find this in bookstores everywhere. Mm-hmm. I got this at the bookstore. But where else can they get it? Give us some of your websites.
They can get it at Amazon.com. And they can get it at the Borders and the Barnes & Noble.
They can also get it at Regnery. That's the publisher.
Yeah, Regnery's our publisher, yeah.
Okay, Black Belt Patriotism, How to Reawaken America. Chuck Norris, thank you so much.